the invisible source code. They are all searching for it. The one stock. The single shining moment of genius that changes everything. They want the lottery ticket that hits. The one brilliant move that makes the world stand still. But every time they ask for the secret, the answer they get is the same, and it usually disappoints them. Because the truth is, there is no single move. The gulf between an average person and a billionaire isn't a lucky investment or a sudden flash of brilliance. It is the thousands of seemingly boring, unremarkable, and disciplined decisions that, when stacked one on top of the other, create a force of nature. Imagine a magic penny that doubles in value every day. On day 1, you have a cent. On day 7, you barely have $1. It feels slow, almost pointless. But by day 20, you have over $50,000. And by day 30, you have $5 million. This is the power of a curve that starts slow and then goes nearly vertical. This is compounding, the 8th wonder of the world. But here is the secret most people miss their entire lives. Knowledge, wisdom, and habits compound in exactly the same way. Life is like a very long hill. The most important thing you can do is find some wet snow, useful knowledge, and start rolling a small snowball at the very top. To build that snowball, you need a foundation. You need an operating system for your mind. Most people see their daily routine as a checklist of tasks to be completed. But the truly successful see their habits as 3 different ways to give that snowball its first crucial push. The first habit, the one that provides the snow itself, is the most important of all. It is what you choose to feed your mind every single day. It starts with a chair and a stack of papers. For over 50 years, the most successful investor in history has spent 80% of his working day sitting and reading. In his early career, it was 600, 700, sometimes 1,000 pages in a single day. Today, it's closer to 500. But the number isn't the point. The point is what he is reading. While the world is glued to cable news, reacting to every twitch and flicker of the market, or scrolling through social media consuming opinions about opinions, he is sitting with annual reports from companies you've never even heard of. He is reading trade journals from the most boring industries imaginable. Carpet manufacturing, brickmaking, the legal filings of competitors and suppliers. Most people read for entertainment or to find a single actionable fact. They are panning for a single fleck of gold. But to build real wealth, you must read like a geologist. You aren't looking for a piece of gold. You are trying to understand the entire mountain. You want to know its structure, its composition, its weak points, and its history. When you understand the mountain, you don't need to pan. You know exactly where the main vein is, and you can walk right up and take it. This is intellectual mining. It is hard work. It is an obsessive commitment to documents that most people would call the most boring papers on earth. Why do it? To build a circle of competence. People think being smart means having an opinion on everything. It doesn't. It means knowing with absolute certainty the precise boundaries of your own ignorance. Every page, every footnote, every CEO letter is another brick in the wall of your circle. When you read about insurance or banking or consumer goods, you are making that circle smaller, but you are making the walls higher and thicker. This is how a cognitive moat is built, a competitive advantage that no one can take from you. When you understand the fundamental economics of the railroad business, it helps you understand coal. When you understand coal, you start to understand energy. When you understand energy, you understand manufacturing. It all connects. Knowledge is not a collection of isolated facts. It is a latticework of mental models. The more you know, the more hooks your brain has to hang new information on. Learning stops being linear and becomes exponential. You start to see patterns that no one else sees. You predict the second and third order consequences of an event while everyone else is still reacting to the first. Your brain quite literally becomes a more efficient learning machine. This leads to the annihilation of risk. Risk is not a mathematical model or a standard deviation. Real risk is simply not knowing what you are doing. If you buy a stock because your neighbor told you to, you are taking a 100% risk. You are gambling. But if you have read that company's annual reports for 10 years, if you understand the industry's threats and opportunities, and you buy it for a price less than its intrinsic value, you are taking almost no risk. The market isn't risky. Ignorance is risky. But I know what you're thinking. You have a job. You have a family. You don't have 500 pages of free time. This is the most dangerous misconception you can have. I don't have time to read because I am rich. I am rich because I made time to read. If reading is the engine that gathers the snow, your time is the fortress you build around it. This brings us to the second daily habit: aggressively and ruthlessly protecting your time. Imagine a billionaire showing his calendar to a friend. The friend expects to see every minute planned, a flurry of meetings and phone calls. Instead, he sees almost nothing. Blank, wide-open spaces of time. Time is the only asset you cannot buy more of. No matter who you are, you get 24 hours, and every moment that passes is gone forever. Most people treat their time like a public resource. They let anyone make a claim on it. A 5-minute chat, an email demanding a response, a meeting you don't need to attend. But every time you say yes to a small request, you are implicitly saying no to something else. You are saying no to deep thought. You are saying no to the activities that generate real, long-term value. This is the principle of opportunity cost. The cost of a 1-hour meeting isn't 60 minutes. It's the one insight you would have gained from reading that could have saved your company $1 million. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Busyness is not the same as effectiveness. A hamster on a wheel is busy, but it isn't getting anywhere. Your brain needs time to process. It needs time to let the subconscious mind work its magic. Great ideas do not happen in noisy conference rooms or while you're multitasking between 5 different tabs. They happen in silence, during long, uninterrupted blocks of focus. To escape the trap of being busy, you need the 25-5 rule. Write down the top 25 things you want to accomplish in your life. Circle the 5 most important. Now look at the other 20. These are not your second-tier priorities. They are your avoid at all costs list. They are the enemies of your success because they are good enough to be tempting. They will seduce you into spending energy on things that are not your highest priority. You must be the ruthless gatekeeper of your own calendar. Every week, perform an audit. Ask yourself, if this meeting were canceled, would I be disappointed or relieved? If the answer is relieved, you shouldn't be there. But as you read and as you protect your time, you need a compass. You need a mechanism to make the right decisions when the world is screaming at you to do the opposite. This is the third habit, living by an inner scorecard. The world is constantly handing you an outer scorecard. It's your job title, your house, your follower count, the applause of the crowd. Most people live their entire lives by this scorecard. They make decisions based on what looks good to others. Their self-worth rises and falls with the judgment of the outside world. This is a disastrous way to live because the crowd is emotional, fickle, and often wrong. Ask yourself this: would you rather be the world's greatest lover but have everyone think you're the world's worst? Or would you rather be the world's worst lover but have everyone think you're the greatest? The only scorecard that matters is the one you keep for yourself. The inner scorecard is your set of standards and principles. It is what allows you to be rational when others are consumed by emotion. It is how you stay greedy when others are fearful. When the market crashes and the news is filled with terror, the outer scorecard makes you feel like a fool. The pressure to conform to the herd is immense, but the inner scorecard says, I have done the homework. I know what this is worth. The crowd's fear is my opportunity. You are detached from the madness because your validation comes from your own analysis, not their approval. To cultivate this, use the newspaper test. Before any major decision, imagine a reporter is going to write the unvarnished truth about your actions on the front page of your local paper for your family, friends, and neighbors to read. Would you be proud? This test cuts through the noise. It forces you to align your actions with the person you want to be. It's not about whether it's legal or profitable. It's about whether it's right. These 3 pillars, reading to gather the snow, protecting time to shape it, and using an inner scorecard to push it, sound simple. They sound like common sense. But common sense is not so common. The power of these habits is not in their complexity, it is in their consistency. It is about doing them every single day, year after year, decade after decade. It is about letting the slow, silent, unstoppable force of compounding work its magic. Most will hear this and go back to searching for a shortcut or a weird trick. They will continue to live by the outer scorecard and wonder why they never reach the peak. No, if you are one of the few who understands the power of the curve, your life will look completely different in 10 years. You will be richer in your bank account, richer in your mind, and richer in your character. You don't need to be a genius. You just need the right habits. Choose one today. Commit to the 5-hour rule and read. Use the 25-to-5 rule to find your priorities. Or start using the newspaper test. Pick the one that feels like the biggest leak in your ship and fix it. Becoming a success is a long game, but it is a game you can win. Start rolling your snowball. Start today. Start now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which of these 3 habits will you commit to first? Subscribe for more deep stories like this.